The Honourable Willie Jackson.
Mr. Speaker, shame, shame, shame on you, David Seymour. Shame on you for what you're trying to do to this nation in introducing this Treaty Principles Bill. Ngāti Rehia will be ashamed that one of their sons has come up with a political stunt that looks to divide the nation and the partnership that we've been trying to get right, Mr. Speaker, since the most preeminent jurist in New Zealand history, Lord Cook, made that historic declaration of partnership in 1987. Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to rewrite the treaty. David Seymour wants to turn over 50 years of our understanding of treaty principles and partnership. The principles are clear, Mr. Speaker. They're clear. They're about partnership. They're about equity. They're about active protection. And they're about redress. Simple. Why does this offend this minister so much? This bill seeks to give Māori rights and Indigenous rights to everyone. And there's no doubt that Mr. Seymour wants to totally change the treaty, Mr. Speaker, as we know it. That's the view of the best legal minds in the country, the King's Council, who have said, abandon this bill. The Waitangi Tribunal, who have said, by engaging with this process, the Crown was sanctioning a process that will take away Indigenous rights. And in fact, there's the view of Crown law, the government's own lawyers. That's right. The government's own lawyers, Mr. Speaker, who said that this bill will undermine Māori rights, but still David Seymour persists with this disgusting piece of legislation. I said some time ago that he was the most dangerous politician in New Zealand, and that has come to pass. Mr. Speaker, I'm a Labour Party member, but I'm also a proud Māori and New Zealander. And I denounce this foul attempt to rewrite the constitutional framework of this nation simply because the Prime Minister is too weak to stop the dangerous extremism of the ACT Party. The party of Doug Graham, the party of Chris Finlayson, Jim Bolger, Jenny Shipley, none of those people would have been played the way the Prime Minister has been played, Mr. Speaker.
That is the last time there is to be any outburst from the gallery. And that is the last time we're to hear a personal reflection of that nature in today's speeches. The Honourable Willie Jackson.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister claims this is MMP and his hands are tied. But he chose, Mr. Speaker, to sell Māori down the river and chose to throw all our shared work out just so he could be Prime Minister. Every single National Party member should be ashamed at the cowardice shown by the Prime Minister and this party. By introducing the bill, National are letting Māoridom down.
Think about what you're saying.
Oh, I have very much, Mr. Speaker, but thank you for that.
I know, but not very clearly, obviously.
Oh, well, that's your view, Mr. Speaker, but thank you for that.
Sorry to interrupt you, but don't go down that track.
Okay. By introducing the bill, though, sir, National are allowing David Seymour to launch a 6-month hate tour.
That's right.
He's using that 6-month hate tour to launch a citizen-initiated referendum to fight the National Party in 1996. The Minister's vanity treaty principles bill will cost us $4 million, Mr. Speaker. $4 million at a time when we've got a cost of living going through the roof. I'm telling Mr. Seymour, Mr. Speaker, and some of the National Party members that who are enabling this, that Māoridom will never accept our redefining of the relationship with the Crown. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. We will march and hikoi for our rights. Mo ake, ake, ake. Mr. Speaker, this Minister has purposely allowed misinformation to replace the true nature of the relationship from the Māori chiefs and Crown and sold that criticism as equality. He is not standing up for democracy. He is using and abusing democracy against my people, against your people. How dare you, David Seymour? Mr. Speaker, yesterday I was on a hikoi. I was so proud to be on that hikoi with our political colleagues, Māori Party, Green Party, wonderful. Asians, Māori, Pacifica were all there. They gave me a clear message, Mr. Speaker, and I agreed to give that message here today. This is to you, David Seymour. You fuel hatred and misinformation in this country. You bring out the worst in New Zealanders. You should be ashamed of yourself, and you are a liar.